Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the InArt Black Myth Wukong Stone Monkey figure, which, as you guys know, I didn't play this game. And I thought this was some kind of super form of the main protagonist, and then I realized he was a bad guy. He's the bad guy, which is even more fun because now I can pose them fighting each other. This is one of the bad guys I guess towards the end of the game. It's a big stone monkey with a big stick, and what better choice to have fighting Wukong, who is a smaller monkey with a stick. So I thought this was pretty cool, and they asked if I would review it, so I said yes, absolutely. I am under no obligation to say nice things. I'm not getting paid, and I do have a discount code for their website for you guys. I'll put it in the description below. They're having a sale. It's like Black Friday, but I believe it goes through at least the end of the year. I'll put that information below for you guys. But yeah, this is a review sample, to be clear, but I can say whatever I want, as I always do, and I don't risk losing anything other than potentially review samples, but if that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. I have to be honest for you guys, and as a result, I don't get a lot of review samples, but these guys seem like they're pretty much on the up and up, and they're okay with honest reviews. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Alrighty, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package if I can grab it. It's not the most elaborate in terms of the aesthetic, which is fine because I don't care about packaging anyway, but if you do want to collect on card or in the box, this is all you get, is this kind of stylized artwork from the source material, not really even of the figure. Otherwise, it's just a black box. So not much to look at there. But like I said, I don't care about packaging that much. I'd rather the money go toward the figure. And so here we are. Alrighty, this guy is up for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. I'll put a link in the description for that below also, so you'll have their website and Big Bad Toy Store's website. You do with those links what you please. And he stands about 7 1/4 to the top of his head. If you include his hair, it's about 8 inches. That's going to make him pretty close to, let's say, 18.5 and 20.5 centimeters. Here he is up against a Marvel Legends figure. Definitely has some size on him. And here he is up against not Stone Monkey, Little Monkey with clothing on. There you go. Sizing seems about right. Like I said, I didn't play the game, but I watched a video of it. That seems about right. Like maybe he could be a little bigger, maybe? I don't know. He seems okay. Should be fine. Alright, so here he is. I'm going to note one thing right off the bat. No soft goods on this guy. Little Monkey, soft goods. Stone Monkey, no soft goods. I think that would have been a benefit for this piece especially, because it does get in the way a little bit when posing. Given the price point, I think it's fine, of course. It's not super expensive for everything you get here, which is nice, but it is kind of a nuisance. If only these bottom parts, the dangly bits, were soft, I think that would have been helpful. But otherwise, it does look nice. I'm not a soft goods guy in general, but it looks good like this, but it does pose a little. It's annoying when posing, so there's that. And then I'll get the other annoying thing out of the way too, is the shoulders. For those of you who aren't familiar, he's not supposed to be wearing armor. This is just his shoulder. But the way they've done it, it does look a little bit like armor, and I think it could be less gappy. But other than that, it looks pretty darn good. I wanted to get the bad things out of the way. The shoulders work. Like, you can still pose them and everything, and the more you pose them, the better they look in most cases. But I think they could be a little bit more flush, a little bit bigger, a little bit higher up. Not bigger necessarily, but less gappy. It depends on how you want to pose them, I guess. But that's it. That's it for bad stuff. Now the good stuff. I love the sculpted details this company can manage on this scale. Let me make it a little bit brighter for you. The hair, especially, and the facial details, so freaking good. That hair is lovely. At this scale, I don't think anybody's doing better. Better sculpt work, better application. Look at those eyes. Those eyes are tiny. Doesn't really help to compare to Darwin, but it does, I guess. Those eyes are tiny and so well done. The details on the face, so clean. And you have all those kinds of details throughout the whole figure too. More hair. It's nice. It is a nice looking figure. I know I don't normally keep it this tight, but I wanted to show you the details up close. It looks really, really, really good. So these guys are they're making impressive product, that's for sure. Remember, if you didn't see this review, check it out. I'll put the link over there. This guy's face is a real good example too. Look at that. You would have no idea that that is an inch tall if you didn't know. It's so well done, and these figures pair nicely, of course. So there's that. So yeah, it looks great. As far as the articulation goes, their articulation looks really nice on this. It almost has like a Monster Arts kind of vibe. It's not built that way at all. So it's not just ball pegs that fall apart, but you don't see any of the joints. They're all fully sculpted. You can see some cuts here and there, of course, but nothing that's just smooth plastic, so that's very, very nice. Really, the biggest two issues are this is kind of a hassle, but it still looks good, and then the shoulders definitely could look less gappy, but once you pose him, that's not really an issue. So yeah, he looks great. I'm thrilled with the way this guy looks. Let me see if I can... I'll probably leave it like that and see if that works. Yeah, it looks great. So I'm going to go, I'll say 9 out of 10. The shoulders definitely could do better in terms of the aesthetic, but otherwise it looks fantastic. This will probably lose a point for articulation, but we'll see. Now, as far as accessories go, you get a decent spread of hands, which they look nice. They're very well sculpted. I like them a whole bunch. You do get a peg hole, or a peg, on a hand so that you can use his giant stick, which we'll get to in a second. But next we have a head, an alternate head. Mouth open, otherwise very similar, but kind of like an angrier grimace. Man, I love the sculpts on these. I just can't get over the hair details and the paintwork. They look so nice. I'm not saying it because it's a review sample. I do get other review samples I don't gush over. This is just so well done. You'll see when you get it in hand. It looks great. And then you get the giant stick. Let's talk about the giant stick. I could use this as a weapon. It's 2 pieces though, so it would fall apart if I did. But it's it's massive. It's like 12. It's like 13 inches, 14 inches. Let me see. It's there's 12 right there. Yeah, it's just about 14 inches. And it is just gigantic. It's heavy and gigantic. He cannot hold it. It needs to be held up with a display stand. So you can peg the hand on there to help, and then you have 2 different display stands. You get the giant one for him and another one for the stick, and you have interchangeable parts to adjust the height or angles and whatever, so it'll work. But man, that's a massive, heavy, giant stick for this little monkey guy. And then you do get the fire for his forearms or the smoke, and both look really nice. I love the shading on the smoke ones in particular. So good spread of accessories. I love that we get display stands and a giant, massive stick. Pretty cool. I will go... that's probably all you really need, isn't it? I can't think of anything else. I guess you could have more hands. I'll go 9.5 out of 10. Some more hands would be good, I guess. But again, for this price point, you're getting plenty. All right, now for the articulation, this is where it's going to really come down to it, where the metal hits where the rubber hits the road. The metal doesn't hit anything probably. All right, we have ball pegs and a separate piece of hair in here, which does allow him to, should I do it darker? We'll do it like this and adjust it if we need to later. His head moves around really nicely because ball pegs are the way to go. You can pose this guy's head really, really well. The neck is of course on a ball peg also, so that works. No problems there, works well. For the shoulders, like I said, we do have this extra gapping that's not ideal, but the deltoids are basically treated like shoulder pads here. And then we have that inner ball peg joint, which allows him to have a little bit of a butterfly, not a ton. And then, okay, we'll set that aside. So that's how they've done it. You have your ball hinge here, and it connects here. It's not exactly like a Revoltech, but it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. It's a weird combination of things, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's overly complex and doesn't achieve as much as I would hope it would for being this complex. These just pop off if you need them to. He has the range mostly in the shoulder. So like you can raise his arm up. Can I not have that pop off, please? It didn't pop off before, so let's see. There we go. How far can we get it to raise up before it pops? Looks like that's as far as it goes. So that's better than horizontal, so I'll take it. This side will work about the same. So I'll take it, and it actually looks better with the arm up like that. It looks a little bit more seamless, which is nice. It's not a bad setup. I just think it's a little cumbersome. Rotating the arm forward does work. It's nice from the side. It definitely works there. Yeah, I don't know. It's got like a quasi-Revoltech sort of thing going on. Somebody commented when I made a post about this figure that it has the Revoltech style shoulders. It's not exactly that. It's a little bit cleaner than that, but also has a lot of the same issues. But it does pose around well enough. The downside is, though, which does hurt posability, is, let me pull that off again, actually. The bicep swivel happens all the way at the top, up here by the ball. And you have a lot of meat going around that ball to make it look good. So rotating the arm at the bicep is really less helpful than you would like it to be. You'll get him into enough poses probably, but like right here I can't even rotate it because this part up here is binding. So yeah, his shoulders get a little bit cumbersome and a little bit annoying. I think you'll be able to get him into the poses that you'll want for the most part. I was able to do pretty well with it when I was just messing around with it, but they might be a sticking point that's a little bit annoying. For the elbows, nicely done in terms of looks. They can straighten out that far, which is basically straight, a little bit of curve to the forearm. And then as far as the bend goes, a little bit better than 90. It's a little bit more limited. They do look nice, but they are more limited. Yeah, can't force him anymore. So he's not going to be the poser that the little guy is. He probably doesn't have to be, given that he's the boss. He has a very set range of options. But I always like to see more rather than less. For the hands, you just get a ball peg in there, which is pretty nice for this design. It works well enough. The hands swap out easily, and it'll move around just fine. It's pretty seamless when the wrist isn't rotated. When you rotate it, it gets less good looking, but that's the way it goes. Now, for the torso, unfortunately this is connected to the torso. We'll talk about that in a second, but the torso is like the perfect example of the things I've been saying. Double ball pegs in the torso, at least up here, a single down here. He can just pose however he wants. Like, he's laying basically straight back right there, and even then, basically no gapping, except for right here where I really forced it. And then going forward, all the way forward, and again, no gapping. To the side. All the way to the side. Still no gapping. It's not that hard to do ball pegs. I don't understand why every company doesn't do this. You're always going to have issues down here because you have to make room for the legs. So I don't even fault him for that. But goodness gracious, this guy's torso is exactly how it should be. It rotates at both joints. It has all of the range you could want. It is splendid. Now for this piece, like I said, it's just a solid hanging soft piece, which is annoying because it will get in the way of posability some. Otherwise, it's a standard diaper sort of setup with ball pegs for the hips. The diaper is soft, and because he's got this like craggy texturing, you're going to have to flex some pieces around. But he does get decent range out of those hips, like almost full on splits. This being here is, like I said, definitely a downside. But who knows, maybe they release like an upgrade pack like they're doing for Batman. That would be kind of cool, where you have soft goods there. But even then, like, you could probably deal with it. But yeah, you do get the splits, but that'll be a dangly piece. And you can bring the leg forward. We have a little bit of a Revoltech situation where the leg has to go out to the side some, but it does go up pretty high. Not some, it goes out to the side a lot. But it does go up pretty high. So you'll have that. Same thing on this side. It's there, but you're going to have to kind of play with it to get it where you want it. You do get a thigh swivel. It is at an angle like Revoltech, which is super strange. I've never found that to be a necessary thing on Revoltech. I still don't find it to be necessary here. You'll be able to work around it just like you always have had to, but it's something that you will have to work around. Double jointed knees work nicely. They look good. No real issues there. No problems. You can see a little pin there. Some people will lose their minds over that pin. I couldn't care less if the pin's even bigger, personally, but it does look nice without any visible joints really other than that. And then for the ankle, it's essentially a ball hinge at the top. You get some problems, though, because the ankle, best way I can hold this, they have the Achilles tendon coming down, which does help for the sculpt. I would sacrifice that for the range. The ankle is a lot more limited than it needs to be because of that. Doesn't go forward or back very far at all. If you go out to the side some, you can bring the foot down, but obviously you don't want to necessarily do that. You do get a nice ankle rocker out of it, so that's good. But here's the other part that kind of makes up for that, at least, is the toe has really good range. So you can bring the foot up or down a little bit, up, and it rotates. The toe can, or the set of toes can rotate there. So that's helpful, and this toe is on a swivel hinge also. So the toes kind of make up for the limitations in the ankle, but I would really, really like to see this be able to go farther back and farther forward. And of course, you can force it. I don't know how much you want to do that. It tucks under. So that's better for dipping the toe down. Bringing the toe up, though, yeah, you're not getting much. You'll have to do it here. So it could be a little cleaned up, I think, but they chose to do the sculpt, so I can't really fault them. It's like blaming every NECA figure for looking good and posing horribly. You have to be okay with what the company chooses, because that's what they chose to do. The tail is bendy. Now, the way the tail connects is interesting. It's just, you don't do this, it comes this way. It's just glued into this right here. It's a little, I don't know, it feels floppy. I'm afraid to bend it too close to up there. Now, luckily, the tail does bend nicely, so I guess that's fine. And as far as I could tell, when you're fighting him, his tail's not really doing a whole lot but dangling. Mostly. So I think it'll be fine, but don't expect to like do anything crazy with the tail. It is mostly just going to hang down there, and then you can curl it a little bit. So yeah, it's not like it's a perfect figure or anything like that, but for the price point, there's a whole lot going on here that is just excellent. I wish the ankles were a little bit easier. Same thing with the hips. And then the shoulders, there's definitely some room for improvement, I think. But even with all of that stuff, there's no way this isn't a great value, a great purchase. I'm curious how people will feel about it since it's not the main protagonist. But for me, I'm thrilled. I love having bad monkey versus good monkey. I think that's going to be fun on the shelf. And this guy's a nice big figure for a relatively low price point with lots of good stuff going on. I don't know. I would give the articulation a... I'm gonna say 8 because it does look really good, and once you get it posed, it's gonna look fine. But there are some caveats, some intricacies that you'll have to work around for sure. But it's still a really, really solid piece. All right, and now it's time for the final verdict on this guy. Oh, it's another great entry for InArt for sure. They're just making really good products. I do say there's room for improvement, especially at the shoulders and the hips. I don't love those regions at all. It would be a lot more fun to pose this guy if I wasn't fighting with the shoulders and fighting with the hips. You can do it though, so I can't hold it too much against him, but I would like to see that be better, especially after this guy who posed really nicely. Easily. I mean, the range is still there for the most part. But yeah, okay, so time for the final verdict. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10, especially given everything you get and how good the figure looks. It's an excellent, wonderful release. It's just not perfect. And I have to reiterate it so much because these days, as soon as you say something's not perfect, everybody says you're a hater and you hate it and it's the worst thing ever. I'm not saying that. There's definitely room for improvement, though, on an otherwise great figure. And I think that's fair enough. And you know what? If me saying that means I don't get review samples anymore, then that's the way it goes. I don't think that's the case, though. I think they're a pretty cool company so far, and I don't think they're going to mind honest feedback that could be considered constructive, which is what I'm trying to do here. And I'm also trying to give you guys the information you need. So hopefully you have that now, and you can decide if you want to buy one. But I do recommend it. 9 out of 10. Great figure. A little bit of room for improvement. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.